guys, welcome to Educating Shani. I'm Shani and I have an eating disorder. Hi Shani. Hi. I don't know if you saw yesterday's video. Just was explaining to my family and friends mostly, but also to the rest of you, basically what type of anxiety I have, what happens to me when I have anxiety, and what goes on inside of my brain and things like that. So there's another part of my anxiety that I'm extremely scared to tell you about and embarrassed. Yesterday was already really embarrassing for me. If you missed that video, I will put the link below. Go check it out. One other thing that I wanted to tell you was that when I get anxiety and I just feel like the world around me is just crashing down on me and I feel like there's nothing else for me to do other than commit suicide or hurt myself or do something horrible to myself. It's like my brain thinks that that's the only logical answer to what I'm going through that will fix what I'm going through, which obviously when I'm not having an anxiety attack like right now, I can see how stupid that is and how ridiculous that is, but it's true. That's what happens while I'm in it, and that's what's really scary about it. I got a lot of positive feedback last week when I opened up a lot more, and I got a lot of positive feedback yesterday as well, and so I figured I'm just going to keep going with this. I'm just trying to give you guys what you need in order to connect with me, and that's what you guys need. You've told me that that's what you need. So one of the things that happens when my anxiety gets really bad, when I'm having a bad anxiety attack, I'm getting past the point of sweating and not being able to breathe and feeling nauseous, and then it turns into, if Danny's not there, it turns into something very bad, which is that I start hearing voices. But one of the reasons that we moved into my parents' house is because it started to feel dangerous for me to be alone while Danny was at work, because these voices would tell me to do horrible things to myself. We've been here like 5 or 6 years. We've stayed way past our welcome, I'm sure, but my parents have been so gracious and so loving and willing to just let us stay here as long as I need to get better. And Mom and Rob, if you're watching, thank you again for everything that you do for us. We can't thank you enough for everything that you've given to us and for allowing us to stay here and take over the bottom half of your house. And hopefully I will get better sooner rather than later so that we can get out of here and you can have your house back. But until then, I really am so extremely grateful to you both. You may have saved my life by letting me be here while Danny's not here. So anyway, but after we moved in here just a couple years ago, the voices started getting really constant. One night I was having really bad anxiety. I was having really bad thoughts of, Danny deserves so much better than me, my whole family, Danny, everybody would be so much better off without me. And those voices came to my head right then and there and said, go to Danny's shop and just hang yourself in there. There's we live in the basement, so there's lots of, boulder thingies up there that you could hang yourself with. Go check it out. So I go in there because I was stupid at the time and I listened to the voices, and I went in there and I'm looking around for something to hang myself with. I find like an extension cord, and without getting too graphic, I'll just say this. I went to set up my suicide, and while I was doing it, I heard another voice in my head say, you know what, you're too fat anyway, you're just gonna break the boulders. And in that moment I was like, whoa, dude, Ed has entered my mind and teamed up with this other voice in my mind. It's like I felt ganged up on by 2 different voices. It was the weirdest thing. Like I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe this actually has to do with my eating disorder as well. My therapist has told me that she doesn't think I was schizophrenic, but that I was like, there was something right before that, and I forget what she called it, where you just hear voices once in a while. You're not really like schizophrenic, but you do get the voices once in a while, and I forget what she called it now, dang it. But anyway, so in that moment, I was like, whoa, okay. So these voices that I'm hearing, first of all, are telling me to go freaking kill myself, telling me how to do it, where to do it, what I should do. And then right before I do it, Ed steps in and says I'm too fat to do it. And like it just clicked with me and I felt ganged up on it. It was like the two of them found each other in my brain and said, okay, one of us is gonna make her almost commit suicide. Then right before she's about to do it, Ed, that's where you come in and tell her she's too fat. It'll be wonderful. This is ridiculous. You're telling me to kill myself, and then when I go to do it, you're telling me I'm too fat to do it. So I'm like, okay, that's ridiculous. So in a way, I'm glad that that happened. This is a really hard story to tell, actually. Usually when I hear voices or when I'm having an anxiety attack, I don't care to fix it. I don't care to know where it's coming from or why it's happening or what's happening to me or what I'm doing to myself because of it. I usually don't care. And so that night, that's what was interesting about it. It just clicked in me and all of a sudden I cared and I realized what was actually going on. And it scared me. It really scared me and it really kind of, snapped me out of it and made me realize that that wasn't me, that that's not me. That was other voices. That was not me. I am not an evil person. These voices I were hearing were evil. Ed is evil, but I'm not evil. And that's something that really, really, really saved my life that night, ironically. So me attempting suicide ironically ended up saving my life, and I'm so thankful that it did. But there are people out there who don't get that realization before they go through with it. So anyway, but I just wanted to kind of tie that in with my anxiety video yesterday, because that's what happens to me when my anxiety gets like to the scary point that I talked about yesterday. I talked about how it can get to a really scary place and a dark place. That's what I'm talking about. You just never know when it's gonna hit you, and when it does, you don't care. You do not care in that moment. All you care about is doing whatever you feel like you should do because of what you're hearing in your head, or just because of your brain chemicals just get off. That's what depression is. That's what anxiety is. That's why it's so dangerous. And I think I feel like it gets taken so lightly these days, that people think that just because, 90% of the world has struggled with some sort of anxiety or depression, that it's not serious, but it's still serious. Even if we've all struggled with it, it's still a serious thing and it's life-threatening. If you're going through anything similar that I went through, just know that there are ways out of it. I have not heard voices since that experience. That's not true. I've heard Ed voices, but I've not heard like the other, like that other person that was telling me to kill myself. Those voices are gone, but Ed was still there in the past couple of years. But I'm just telling you that experience for me kind of snapped me out of it, that there were more than one problem going on in my head, and it was a dangerous combination. So I just want you to know that you're not alone, and I want you to know that if you're feeling like your life is not worth living, I promise you that it is. I'm even starting to find, the more that I'm healing mentally, that my life is worth living, and I'm grateful for my life, and I'm grateful for my husband and my family and my friends, and I know that I'm very blessed to have all those people in my life, and I know that there are a lot of people out there who do not have those people in their lives. And if you're one of those people, my heart breaks for you. I don't know what I would do if I was going through this alone, but I'm not. And just know that I said this in my suicide video, I think already, but I'll say it again. I believe strongly in God. I don't know if you do. I don't know if you believe in a higher power at all. But I do believe with all of my heart that none of us are ever alone, that there's always somebody out there. And if you don't believe in God, if you don't believe in a higher power, lean on the resources that are out there for you. Call the suicide helplines. Try and find yourself a therapist. If you don't have any family and friends to lean on, there's always somebody out there you can find to talk to. And it's so important, because it can happen so fast, where you just take your own life because of the state of mind that you're in for that hour or that day. And it's just not worth it, and it's scary. It's very scary. So okay, that was a really hard story for me to tell you. So my week has been a lot better than last week as far as my eating disorder behavior goes. Last week I was throwing up once or twice a night, and this week I've only done once a night. So that's good. Like, I'm getting back on track to where I was like a month ago. So anyway, yeah, I'm getting back on it. I'm getting, stop. So thank you for listening to that story. These are really important things that I've been wanting to share, that I've been nervous about sharing, and I'm glad that I did, and I hope that it helps you out there, and I hope that somebody out there will see this and know that it is possible to get out of that darkness. It really is possible, and it's within yourself. You just got to find it, and for me, excuse me. For me, it just came out of nowhere, so I'm really grateful for that, but I do know that it's inside of all of us somewhere, so just know that you're not alone. Know that I love you, and I pray for you, and I know that you can get through it just as much as you know that I can get through this, and thank you all for the love and support. Please subscribe to me. Please spread my message around. Please spread my videos and ask people to subscribe. Yeah, so thank you so much. I love you all. I hope you have a wonderful week. And watch out for Friday because we've got another fun Friday video coming. Danny and I have more dumb arguments to give you, so that's going to be fun. Okay, so thank you for watching. You are beautiful. You are worth it, and I am too. Thank you for watching. Bye!